I think the future for Philadelphia is Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, and there is no one that knows better what he is going to turn into, the confidence that they have that he will develop a jump shot, than Philadelphia should have. They watch him every day. They see what he can do. I'm not certain that he necessarily will, but he is so dominant in every other aspect of the game that the hope will be that that will come. And if it does come, then he's going to be a true force in the league. And so I think this is a move that they needed to make.
All right, let's talk about shooting for a moment, because we look around the table, we got 3 legitimate athletes on the table. Jenna's a workout queen, but not a basketball player. Chris does play some basketball, but he's known to throw elbows, break people's noses, get you down on the block. You're the shooter at the table. So how does Ben Simmons go from a guy who last year was 2 of 25 on shots 16-plus feet from the basket? And I don't know what's worse on that number, the 2 or the only 25 attempts?
The whole year?
The whole year. 2 of 25
whole year.
To a guy who is just comfortable taking a few free throw line jump shots.
I think what you stated, the most important thing, and Jenna, that's why your eyes popped out, the 25 attempts. How do you make shots? You've got to take shots. And shooting is so much about confidence. I have watched Ben Simmons shoot. His stroke does not – there are some guys that have janky jump shots. And you watch the form, the follow-through, everything about how they shoot, and you can tell why the ball doesn't go in. And when you watch Ben Simmons, to me, it looks like a shot that he has developed, and it's all about repetition, consistency, practice. But it's very different sitting in a gym and practicing and taking shots as opposed to playing in game action and at game speed. And the thing that I've always questioned about Ben Simmons is that he's not actually even taking those shots. And so at some point, whether it's an ego thing, whether it's a confidence thing, whatever it is, heading into the season, you need to put that aside and tell Ben Simmons, I need you to take X number of shots from a certain distance every game. I don't care if you airball them. I don't care what happens. We need you to do this every single game. And to me, that's the only way he'll get over that hump.
It's about repetition. You Google, how do you become an expert at any one thing? It will tell you to take at least 10,000 reps. That's if you had everything in order. That means the right fundamentals and everything else. I don't like his shot. I don't believe he's got the right fundamentals. But he can be. In golf, we have a guy named Jim Furyk, who's gone on to be one of the great golfers we've seen. He has the most unorthodox swing. So it will not take him 10,000 swings to be able to hit the ball like Tiger Woods or Jack Nicklaus. It takes more swings than that. So he does not have a routine. When you watch the NBA playoffs, one of the things I love, not only the competition, what was the footage we got of the greatest players in the world, what their routine was before the game. I have been to enough games. I know Ben does not have a routine. Why do we have video of him running off the court like a child? Because we don't have a routine. We don't have video of him doing things like LeBron James. That's LeBron James's routine. We saw Kawhi start about 3 feet from the bucket, left hand, right hand, 6 feet, 9 feet, 12 feet, and then go around the arc game after game. We saw Kevin Durant coming back from a strained calf, spinning around on one leg, propelling himself, shooting. He doesn't do those things. So for us sitting out here and the idiots who are doing TV that think he's going to get a jump shot, because that is the challenge everybody has had since transitioning from college. Every player, not just Steph Curry, Michael Jordan, Moses Malone, LeBron James, every single one. Ben Simmons is in the 1 percentile of those players who has not gotten that. And it will not come without an extensive routine and some embarrassment and many, many, many hours in private that he can eventually take to the public.
With all that said, of course you max him out. If he never develops the jump shot, then Philly has a ceiling. Then he's got to be your 3rd best player, and to Chris' point, he might have to change positions. But he has still shown you his value without the jump shot, playmaking, rebounding, defending, size, all those things. If we take the draft class before his draft class, the 2 draft classes after, there's only guys you would rather have than Ben Simmons. Of those 4 draft classes, Karl Anthony Towns, Donovan Mitchell, Luka Doncic. Those are the three that are no-brainers. Maybe De'Aaron Fox, maybe D'Angelo Russell, maybe Jason Tatum. If you redid his draft, he goes number one, again, knowing what we know. But this is Philadelphia to a degree, betting on the come, betting that he is going to improve because they are locked into Embiid, Simmons, Tobias. That is their team moving forward, and they think, and obviously Al Horford as well for the next 4 years, they think that's good enough to win a championship. He has to be better offensively for that to be a reality.
Well, and he has to, what's the big question now for us with Philadelphia? We saw in the postseason, who was their closer? Who was the guy that had the ball in his hands at the end of the game?
He's not there anymore.
It was Jimmy Butler. He's not there. So when you look at Philadelphia's roster, when you look at their lineup and you see how good they can be, the question is who's going to have the ball in their hands at the end of the game? And it should be Ben Simmons. He shouldn't be in that dunker spot at the end of a game.
No, Ben Simmons can't. I respect your basketball, but Ben Simmons can't be the guy at the end of the game. The reason why? Because you don't have to guard him beyond 10 feet. But that's what it showed in the playoffs.
It did. But that to me is where his game, you've got to develop that at some point, because if not, if a team doesn't need to guard you at the end of the game, then how is he a player that's
This is what I believe the
playmaker?
question is, because I don't believe Ben, his jump shot will be a problem. But I believe the coach is a problem because the coach is an asset of Ben's. And I don't believe he's going to force him to playing in a position that he's uncomfortable, and that's away from the bucket. To me, they should change his position. Ever since they've announced him as the #1 pick, they've always said he's a point guard. No, he's not no point guard. Not no real good one. He don't have the skill set. Now, he is a big guy who can dribble and is athletic and can make some plays. But when did that make someone a point guard? When you can't shoot beyond 5 feet, what is he? A 6'10" version of Rondo? Rondo can shoot better than him. And for the first pick,
and is willing to.
I mean, so come on now. I mean,
That could be Josh
I don't
now
think
they
the
pick
question
up,
was, oh, is this a smart move? This was the only move that they have, was to be able to sign him. They didn't have no choice.
I want to make sure I understand what you're saying. What you're saying is for Philadelphia to reach their full potential, he's got to take on the role that Butler had. But the only way he can take on that role is if he improves on the things you're talking
his jump
about.
shot. And that's something that, and I do think it helps that they have Josh Richardson to come play point guard. And not that he doesn't have to be the point guard. I'm with you on the questionable position. He's got to be a player, though, that you feel comfortable putting the ball in his hands at the end of the game.
But he, at the very least...
And that's going to take the development of a shot, which is the question.
And which is more than, it takes longer than an off season to do that.
Absolutely. And at the very least, without the Defensive Player of the Year level defense, but still very good defense, he should be a rich man's Draymond Green. And Draymond will take the open threes. He's not, I mean, he took 25 shots, Ben Simmons, outside of 16 feet. That's impossible. I want to see what Boban did. Like, honestly, Boban, who was his teammate, Boban all of a sudden had a nice little feathery 10-footer. Ben won't even do that. So that is, I baked into it. Between year 1 and year 2, he's going to come back with more of a jump shot.
Which was year wrong. 2, 3, really.
I understand. But between when we first saw him in the NBA last year, I was wrong.
Right.
He's got to come back with something next season.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.